Well, we'll start with the great news, the golden news for glory for India at the Paralympics with 2 golds today. One by young Avani Patel, gold in shooting, and Sumit Antil, who was a wrestler turned javelin thrower, who's got a gold as well. We've also got 2 silvers and 1 bronze coming in from a javelin throw, 2 of those medals, and also Yogesh Kathunia as well, getting a silver in discus throw. So fantastic news there. Well, moving to other headline, the latest on COVID data. So India is at just nearly 43,000 cases. That's slightly less than yesterday. But remember, of course, yesterday's a Sunday and today's Janmashtami, so there will be less testing. The deaths are down significantly at 380. Tests also is just over 14 lakhs. I mean, that's again because of a holiday, and the daily positivity rate is slowly climbing up. It's over 3%. But remember, this is mainly because of Kerala, so it's not necessarily that it's the same across states. Vaccinations so far today are over 55 lakhs. Again, that's a creditable number given that today is a holiday. And if you look at the total vaccination doses, over 63 lakh crores. The dose 1 has been given to over 49 crore people and over 14 crore people, and it's over 63 crores, not 63 lakh crores, over 63 crores totally in India so far. But as we said, the big worry remains Kerala, the overall positivity rate up. The R factor, that is the infection rate, is also rising. And as Kerala cases continue to be high, Karnataka has announced that all travellers from Kerala will have to spend 7 days institutional quarantine in Karnataka despite a RT-PCR test. Also, Kerala's night curfew begins tonight.
Prakash is a migrant from Jharkhand working at a hotel in Kerala's Thiruvananthapuram. The 42-year-old says the COVID pandemic has already hit his daily earnings, down from 1200 rupees daily to 700 rupees a day now. He is worried as Kerala's rising COVID numbers has already brought back night curfew and weekend lockdown. Any more restrictions would make survival tough for not just him, but his 2 school-going children and family back home.
इधर होटल बंद होने के बाद हम लोग इधर काम भी नहीं मिल रहा है, बच्चे कहाँ भूखे मर जाएंगे। इधर कुछ होगा भी नहीं, इधर होटल बंद होने के बाद किधर जाएंगे, बच्चे भूखे मर जाएंगे, इधर दूसरा काम भी नहीं, हम लोग को नहीं होटल।
Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan says restrictions were necessary to moderate the steep increase, reduce hospitalizations and prevent deaths. In the week after Onam, Kerala, that is 2.5% of India's population, accounted for over 60% of the country's new cases. The centre wants Kerala to ensure at least 20 to 25 contacts per positive person and strict compliance of home isolation guidelines.
In Kerala, 90% of people are kept at home, even if they are having mild infection. And our community health system is very strong, and the community health system is able to monitor these patients.
Experts say 2/3 of healthcare facility beds are now occupied. The worry is also that over the last 4 days, number of people on ventilator has climbed sharply every day by over 60.
Patients admitted in intensive care unit who is on ventilators, most of them are unvaccinated people. So vaccination is the game changer. We need more vaccination since our population density is very high. The humidity of Kerala is different. Also, we have a very high number of susceptible population.
Kerala has already vaccinated 75% of its adult population and 55% of total population with at least 1 dose. There have been concerns about whether the surge in cases in Kerala will pave the way for a 3rd wave in the rest of the country. But experts point out that the Delta variant, which accounted for majority of the cases during the 2nd wave, are now being found in more than 90% of the cases in Kerala, and genomic sequence has not shown any new variant. Kerala CM has however asked the state to brace for a 3rd wave. With SP Babu in Thiruvananthapuram and Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
So an important point of concern there, that those who need ventilator beds is rising, though as was said in that report, these are mainly amongst unvaccinated people. Meanwhile, India powering ahead with vaccinations, with us crossing 1 crore vaccinations in a day on Friday. Here's how it's happening state by state, district by district.
Now this is actually a polling station in Dimoria area of Kamrup Metro, just on the outskirts of Guwahati. But these people who have lined up here are not here to cast their votes but to get their vaccine. Now these people are either those who have missed out on the vaccines or they have been inoculated with only one dose.
This is where Lakshmi Boro would queue up to cast her vote. Today, she's waiting to get her second dose of COVID vaccine. The 27-year-old had missed out on her second jab, which was found out by booth-level officers after a survey using the voters list for the area. As part of a special vaccination drive, over 200 polling booths have been turned into vaccination centers in Kamrup Metro District that has already achieved about 80% vaccination of about 12 lakh beneficiaries. Booth-level officers identified beneficiaries based on voters list.
जो लोग वैक्सीन नहीं लिया था, उन लोगों का नाम और उसके साथ-साथ उन लोगों का फोन नंबर हमने रिसीव किया, उन लोगों का हमने नाम लिखकर एसडीसी ऑफिस में भेज दिया।
मानुखिनि माने एनेकुवा कय 2 বছৰ পিছত মৰি যাম বেজিটো নলওঁ আমি বহুত বুজাইছো তাৰে বহুত কিনি আহিছে মানে ধৰক মোৰ 20-25 জন নাহিলে যেতিয়া মই বিয়লো আৰু আমাৰ স্কুলৰ টিচাৰ বিলাক গৈছে আমি বহুত সহায় পাইছো আৰু সিহঁতৰ কোৱামতে এতিয়া গোটেইখিনি আগুৱাই আহিছে।
The target is to cover over 2 lakh people to maximize vaccine coverage in and around Guwahati. A major push for Assam, where 1.72 crore people, or just about half the population, has got at least one jab so far. In Demoria, Assam, with Rathandeep Chaudhary and camera person Sanjay Chakravarti, Joshua Chin for NDTV.
In fact, Maharashtra's caseload is a worry, and the daily positivity rate is inching higher, and that's perhaps one reason why the state government has been extremely cautious with relaxations, especially opening up temples and places of worship. Which has been the demand and the subject of politics in the state. But you can see, of course, devotees have lined up outside, nevertheless, the temple to try and sort of offer their prayers from outside, because the temple, of course, is shut due to COVID restrictions in the state. And that's how it's going to be till actually the state has negated the threat of the third wave, which experts warn is very much around the corner. And in this politics between the state and the centre, what you see is that the BJP saying, why isn't the state government opening up temples? The state government saying, well, there are warnings from the centre to sort of, keep localized restrictions, especially during the festive season. And that's what we've seen on the streets of Mumbai and Maharashtra today as well.
Right, thanks so much Saurabh and Sonakshi for joining us there. Well, different celebrations there, but remember the centre has warned that be careful this festive season as well. COVID has not gone away. Meanwhile, the other big story, 9 new Supreme Court judges to be sworn in tomorrow, including 3 women judges. And today, in a farewell speech at the Karnataka High Court, we got to listen to what Justice B.V. Nagaratna feels about her journey so far to the Supreme Court.
58-year-old Justice B.V. Nagaratna set to be sworn in as a judge of the Supreme Court along with 8 others. Her elevation will make history as she will become the first woman Chief Justice of India in 2027, following in the footsteps of her father, E.S. Venkatramaiah, Chief Justice of India between June and December 1989.
Chief Justice of
At her farewell, the Karnataka High Court judge spoke about the importance of the Constitution and encouraged women advocates to believe in themselves.
I have often wondered as to what binds us together, despite the innumerable diversities. It is my firm conviction that one of the binding factors is the Indian Constitution, a legal system committed to rule of law, and an organized hierarchy of courts with the Supreme Court at the apex. The message which I give to women advocates from this leaf in my book is to take note of the access to the right opportunities. Each one of you can achieve your dreams if you do so. I therefore urge each one of you to seek out these opportunities armed with faith in yourself and stride ahead to achieve all that you want to do and also to give back to society.
Justice B.V. Nagaratna will create many records. She will be the first woman Chief Justice of India in 2027. She will become part of the first father-daughter duo to have been Chief Justice of India, and she will also be part of the first father-daughter duo to be judges of the Supreme Court. Justice B.V. Nagaratna was born on the 30th of October 1962 in the Mandya district of Karnataka.
She went to Sophia High School in Bengaluru and Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in New Delhi. She studied history honours at Jesus and Mary College in Delhi University and then pursued law at the Campus Law Centre in New Delhi. She started practicing law in 1987 in Bengaluru. Her areas of legal practice included arbitration, land acquisition, service law, family law, administrative law, constitutional law and commercial law.
As a student of history honours in Jesus and Mary College, New Delhi, history being one of my favourite subjects, the other being law, I completed my graduation. The subject, apart from aiding to the frame of my thinking, has imparted a tremendous impact on me as a judge and in my judgment writing.
While hearing a divorce petition in December last year, she said, India's patriarchal society does not know how to treat empowered women. Parents don't teach their sons how to treat an empowered woman. Earlier this year, while hearing a case on midday meals, Justice Nagaratna said, nobody can study on a hungry stomach and rejected a state government proposal to withdraw midday meals in schools in COVID hotspots. For Justice B.V. Nagaratna, life has come full circle.
One of the best decisions of my life was to return from Delhi to Bengaluru to enroll myself as an advocate in the Karnataka Bar Council and commence my practice here. This was in order to maintain the highest traditions of the judiciary, inasmuch as I did not wish to reside in the government accommodation allotted to my father, Justice C.S. Venkatramaya, who was then a judge of the Supreme Court at Delhi and practiced there. Now I find that the circle is being completed.
With Sukirti Dwivedi in New Delhi, Anusya Mathur for NDTV.
Wonderful to hear that glass ceiling shattering there. Meanwhile, the other big headline, Haryana Chief Minister M.L. Khattar today said that the words used by the SDM in Karnal, who said yesterday that farmers' heads should be broken, were wrong, but he backed the officers, saying that it's not fair for farmers to stop politicians' visits. This as more and more Haryana and Punjab villages are blocking politicians coming in.
The bloody battle over farm laws playing out once again in Haryana. The weekend violence exposing the fault lines over the controversial farm laws passed last year by the central government. Almost a year on, farmers are now being accused by netas of not allowing them to work or move around freely. The violence played out on Monday as well, with demands of action against Karnal SDM Ayush Sinha. Listen in to what he was caught saying. The CM and the Deputy CM appear to be split in their opinion. Khattar saying that the choice of words could have been better, but tough action was required, whereas Dushyant Chautala saying that the SDM will be asked to explain and action may follow.
Which were used by the officer was not up to the mark of the oath he is taken under as an IAS officer. Action will be taken. First, the reply has been sought from the officer.
अब वो जो वीडियो ऑडियो सुनी है उसमें शब्दों का चयन उस अधिकारी का ठीक नहीं है। मतलब इसमें मानने में मुझे कोई गुरेज नहीं है कि सख्ती करना तो उनका काम है, लेकिन शब्दों का चयन संभल के करना चाहिए।
The Haryana government seems to be fumbling in its response in dealing with the farmers. In 2020, digging up the roads and placing containers, and now high-handedness of the administration. The CM says farmers cannot stop political functionaries from going about their duties.
पहली बात तो इसी में है कि हमारे देश में संवैधानिक तरीके से जो लोकतंत्र की व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए, वो लोकतंत्र की व्यवस्था सबको पालन करना चाहिए और प्रशासन को, शासन को उस लोकतंत्र की व्यवस्था को बहाल करना उनकी जिम्मेदारी होती है। तो आखिर कोई विरोध करेगा हमारी मीटिंग का तो उसको क्या अधिकार है? कोई अधिकार नहीं है।
Punjab, which goes to polls next year, has seen protest against the BJP leaders, some even turning violent. But now leaders of every political party are facing the heat. Many villagers have now passed resolutions not allowing politicians to enter the villages for poll campaign.
सारी राजनीतिक पार्टियां ਦਾ ਬਾਈਕਾਟ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦਾ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦਾ ਇੱਕੋ ਇੱਕ ਮਕਸਦ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਧੜੇਬਾਜ਼ੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ।
Akali Dal President Sukhbir Badal has also been facing intense protests during his 100-day poll campaign.
As Punjab and Uttar Pradesh will have assembly elections next year and Haryana has panchayat elections this year, there are chances that farmers will again intensify their agitation and leaders of all the political parties will face these protests across these three states. In such circumstances, the state governments will have to ensure that a lathi charge-like incident which happened in Karnal day before yesterday is not repeated in future. In Chandigarh, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
Well, in other news, the Sensex and Nifty surged once again to record highs on Monday in line with global stock exchanges after the US Federal Reserve Chair indicated the US Central Bank could begin scaling back its bond buying program by year end. The BSE Sensex up by 765 points to close at a record high of over 56,889. The Nifty 50 index jumping 226 points. So, Ashish Chauhan, the CEO of the Bombay Stock Exchange, tweeted today saying listed company equity market capitalization on the BSE has reached an all-time high of 2.47 crores, congratulating India for that record market cap listing.